कि हमारे जो मेज़बान हैं वो कैम्ब्रिज पाकिस्तान कैम्ब्रिज सोसाइटी हमारे भाई शाहिद साहब हैं, आतिफ असलम साहब नाम आतिफ अजीज़ साहब हैं, तीसरे भाई कौन है? एहसान असलम साहब हैं। तो मैं चाहूँगा तीनों भाइयों में से कोई भाई जो है चौधरी साहब के हवाले से मज़ीद हमें कोई तारुफ भी करवाइएगा। और मैं चाहता हूँ कि 14 अगस्त को जो बरतानिया है, यहाँ जब तक चौधरी साहब की खबर यहाँ है, हम 14 अगस्त जो है यहाँ पर सेलिब्रेट करें। अभी थोड़ी देर बाद हम 2 चीज़ें अभी बाकी हैं, कुछ मुफ्ती साहब भी बयान फरमाएंगे और तराना हम पाकिस्तान का सारे मिल के आखिर में पढ़ेंगे। और सूरह यासीन, अभी हमारे साथ हफ़ाज़े किराम है, तो सूरह यासीन ये मुकम्मल पढ़ेंगे, हम यहाँ पर सुनेंगे और इंशाल्लाह
सबने पढ़नी है, सुनना पढ़नी सबने,
सारे मिल के पढ़ लेंगे।
थोड़ी पढ़े
तो ये है कि चले वो आपकी आवाज़ किसर करते हैं। तो जिस बंदे ने आपको लफ्ज़ पाकिस्तान दिया उसका इतना हक तो होना चाहिए कि 14 अगस्त को उसको भी याद कर लिया जाए, उसको भी याद किया जाए। तो ये मूवमेंट है, आज हमने इसको शुरू किया है और उम्मीद है कि आइंदा हर साल आप 14 अगस्त को जो है, और कैम्ब्रिज वाले मेज़बान बनेंगे, या हम आइंदा भी कोई मीटिंग कैम्ब्रिज के अंदर रख के ये अब आप भी निकले बाहर और इंशाल्लाह ताला चौधरी साहब के एजाज़ में इंशाल्लाह ये बाकायदा। मैं भाई आतिफ अजीज़ साहब से गुजारिश करूँगा।
मैं आपको हमारे एहसान असलम साहब जी, इन्होंने चौधरी रहमत अली पे बहुत काम किया, या अथॉरिटी है और ही हैज वर्कड अ लॉट। आई मीन वेबसाइट पे जाके देखिए, अमेजिंग द काइंड ऑफ वर्क ही हैज डन। एंड
आगे आ जाए, इधर आ जाए।
दरख्वास्त करूंगा कि प्लीज
कुछ तफसीलात बताएं।
ये अथॉरिटी है चौधरी रहमत अली।
माशाल्लाह, बड़ी बात है,
बड़ी खुशी है।
I'm going to speak in English, so
yes, you know,
I think it's useful for the younger generation as well. First of all, it's such an immense privilege that all of you managed to come on this very, very special commemorative occasion. So on behalf of the association, if the association will allow me, or at least from Cambridge, we welcome you all here. It's an honor for all of us. We're gathered here, as the Buzurg has already mentioned, and in fact he said most of the things which need saying. We gathered here for one of the key persons in the Pakistan movement, the key person behind the creation of Pakistan. We are here because of Pakistan. We are here because of this magical, magnetic, special name. We're here, we are Pakistanis. And it is this person who started the name on the 28th of January 1933 when he was a student here. He came to study from Lahore to Cambridge University. He studied law, I think it's mentioned here, at Emmanuel College, and he stayed here and campaigned for the movement of Pakistan. He started during the round table conferences, the Goal Maze conferences. He tried to ask the delegates in London, he went there during his study times to encourage, to ask the delegates there to campaign for a separate, independent Muslim country, sovereign country, which he coined the name Pakistan. He got the name from the key components of the area in which, in his mind, was going to make Pakistan. Remember, this was a time when it was the Indian subcontinent was under the rule of the British. These were colonial days, so it was quite a novel idea in many ways that somebody comes along and says, no, we are not going to be independent, united India, but those areas which are dominantly Muslim, we want them as a separate, sovereign, independent country. So he came up with the name of Pakistan. He said this is a geographical area. The P is from Punjab. I'm sure you know all these things. The A is from what he used to call Afghania, which is the northwest frontier province, as it was known until recently. K for Kashmir, and S for Sindh, and the TAN from Balochistan. So the areas which came to eventually, remember this was January 1933, the areas which eventually came into being as Pakistan is exactly what he said. So he was quite a visionary, he was a Muslim intellectual, he was a historian, he understood Muslim history, and he felt that those areas where the Muslims are dominant within the Indian subcontinent, i.e. Pakistan and what later became Bangladesh and parts of India, he felt that they should be remaining independent and dominantly as Muslim areas, rather than being part of greater united India. And he felt, and is a phrase which he used commonly, was that overnight the Muslims would become a minority. If there was a united India, for example, we come from an area called Pakistan now, where the Muslims were dominant. If we were to become a part of India, United India, overnight, the Muslims would be a minority in their own countries and they wouldn't have control of their own destiny and their future. So he felt every community, every qawm has its own right for self-determination, which is a commonly recognized law or thing. So he came as a student and he campaigned for this movement from 1933. He started a movement for it, the Pakistan National Movement. Campaigned amongst the students, amongst the intellectual students at that time in the 1930s were spread throughout the UK. So he got in touch with them, he used to meet them, went down to London and campaigned for this, got them on board. And even when he wrote the Now or Never Declaration, which he published as a 4-page full-scap document detailing the areas of Pakistan and detailing why there should be a Pakistan. So he called it the Pakistan Declaration, but it is commonly known as Now or Never. Are we to live or perish? Will Muslims survive post any colonial arrangement for Indian subcontinent, or will they perish? And he felt the survival of the Muslims depended upon Muslims having their own independent, separate sovereign. The starting point was here. So he campaigned for this until the movement became quite big. Eventually, on 23rd of March 1940, the then current dominant Muslim political party at that time was the All India Muslim League. Their leader at that time was Muhammad Ali Jinnah. They resolved on the 23rd of March to vaguely accept the plan without mentioning the details, which of course has its own political things for that, but without actually even mentioning the name Pakistan or the specific areas which Ch Rehmet Ali had outlined 7 years earlier. They accepted the notion of Pakistan, and then eventually the movement started, and then another 7 years later we got